Hi there, I'm Andy Hillier and today's guitar lesson is going to be on Keep Your Rifle by Your Side from Far Cry 5. I've done a cover version of it, go and check it out. I'll put a link in the description down below and I'll put a card above up there. Just before I teach you it though today, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, which is Andy Hillier, it really does help me out. Give me a like on the video, leave me some comments on the comment section as well, including any songs you want to learn or want me to do covers on. And if you love what I'm doing and you want to support me and you want to print the tabs off for this, I'll put it on my Patreon account. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. My guitar's in standard tuning. Now there's two parts to the song. There's a verse and then there's a chorus. So we're going to learn the verse and the chorus. And then there's also a second verse which is a bit different as well. So, okay, so the first line of the verse. Just before we play this, if you look at the end there, bar 24, the last bar, I think it'll be on this side. It's going to play that bar before the first bar. It's actually on the previous line, but it saves me putting another line of music up. So to start off with, we're going to play G6 and then B4 from bar 24, the last bar there. So G6 and then B4. And then we'll go back to the beginning of the line. Okay, so I'm going to play you the line slowly. It goes. So for that we've got B6. So remember we've got at the end of that G6 and then B4 and then it goes into the bar 17, B6 3 times, B4 and then G6. So we've got and then we've got D3 to D6. Into the next bar, bar 19, we've got G3, G6, G3, D6, and then D3. So from the beginning, remember we've got those two notes at the beginning before the beginning of the line. Hopefully this is making sense. We've got and then I've chosen to do octaves because there's a higher vocal and a lower vocal. So you could play either one of these notes or you could play them both at the same time. So I'm playing fret 6 on the A string, fret 8 on the G string, and then D3 and B6 at the same time. And then it's that 4 times. And then move up to fret 6 on the D string, little finger on B9. So from the last hit on bar 20 we've got then it goes back down to fret 3. Don't play anything in the brackets. The brackets are just notes held on. So go back to the 3 and the 6 and then back to the the A string on fret 6 and G8 down to A4 with the G6. Then back to the, in bar 23, A6 and G8. So from the last hit of bar 20 you get and then we've already played those last two notes into from bar 24. So let's try the whole line, remembering the two notes from bar 24 at the beginning. So we go 1, 2. On to the second line. It's almost the same as the first line, the first 3 bars, but slight different change in the rhythm on bar 27. So it's the same notes, but just slightly different rhythm. So we should be able to play that. Have a listen to this, guys. So So just a slightly different rhythm, same notes. And then we get these octaves, which go... which is D8, B11 to A8 and G10. Then we've got D6 and B9, A4 and G6, D3 and B6, back to A4 and G6 at the same time twice. So go. And then at the end we go on G3 and G6, which is going to take us into the chorus. So let's try the whole of that second line. We've got... Okay, so that's the verse, onto the chorus. I started with this chord. You could just play literally the B7 twice, but I've chose to put like the whole chord in there. So I've got B7 with my second finger, first finger on G6, third finger D8, little finger on A9. But if you want to, you could just play. So you play those twice. And then we're going to do some octaves again. Again, you could just play one of the notes and play 4 on the D string and B7, D6, B9, and then down at fret 3 on the D string and 6 on the B string. So, and then down to A6 with the G8, then A4 and G6, back to the A6 with the G8, down to the 4 again, and back to the 6. Hopefully that makes sense. So it goes. So it goes 1, 2. Then it's going to do this chord again, but this time I've chose to put a 6 on the top. So I've barred my first finger. So you could just play the bottom 3 strings, or you can play the whole thing, whichever way you prefer. And then the octaves, same kind of idea. I'll just tell you where your first finger is, and hopefully you should know where your little finger is for an octave. So it goes D4, D4, D8, D6, then A8, A6, A4, and A6. So it goes. And then, which is the last 2 hits on the line, D6 and B6, then D6 and B4. So the whole line goes 1, 2. 1, 2. And then next line, bar 41, we've got which is D8 and G6, G5 and B4, G6 and B6 at the same time, then D6 and G6, then D6 and B6, so it goes. And then we go to D8 and B7 at the same time. So da, da, da. And then back to the 6s on the D and B string twice. And then octaves, playing D8, A8, D6, A4, D3, A4 twice, which is that same which we had at the end of the verse as well. So that line, whole thing goes. The only other part to it is the second verse, which is slightly different. The first line of it goes. And So for that, we're playing bar 51. If you want the full transcription of this, I'll put it on my Patreon account and then you can print it off. D3, 3 times, A6, A4, A4, D3, D6. So you got bar 53, we go, which is G3, G6, G3, then D6, and then it goes down to D3 in the next bar. So you got A6, and then D3 4 times, and then D6, D3, A6, A4, A6, and then at the end of that line, a little line that goes into the next, phrase that goes into the next line, which is that G6, B4. So the whole line. And the last line that we need to learn goes. So for that we've got, which is B6 3 times and then B4. Into the next bar we've got G6, then G6, B6, E4, and then, which is E6 3 times, and then E4, then B6 on the end, and then that same bit that we had before. So the whole line goes. And then that takes you back to the chorus. And that's the whole song. I then put a solo on after the end of that, and then I just put the chorus at the end as well, just to finish off the song. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed this little guitar lesson. I'll put the tabs for it on my Patreon account, so I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel if you've really enjoyed this, then that would be amazing. Give me a like on the video as well. Leave me some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what songs you want to learn as well. Where in the world you're from. It's really interesting for me to hear from you guys. And if you love what I'm doing, you can support me on Patreon. Go and check that out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Thanks for watching this. I've been Andy Hillier, and I'll see you next time.